about home. Here's our window. We're actually going to be putting some industrial shelving here, but you'll still be able to see the window. And since we'll be putting clothes here in the window, we don't want them to be ruined with the sun and get damaged that way. We don't actually use any of the windows. They're all taped, or all, actually not taped. They're all painted shut. This building is very old, and we don't really want the heat coming in. It's very hot in the afternoon on this side. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna first start with cleaning and then rinsing the residue off. And then we're gonna paint the whole window frame and all. And then we're gonna proceed with transfers. We wanna hide this window. The bars have been here forever, probably put in the 50s. It's very common in older homes to have the burglar bars. We are not opting to cut them out because that's just a little bit more work than I wanna do. So let's get started. We'll get to cleaning this and then we'll start painting it. Our window is totally clean. We've rinsed it. Actually, we cleaned it with a TSP alternative, and then we rinsed that residue off. We're going to paint just inside here of the window, like the window seal portions here, because they're really, they used to be green, and you can still see the green over the bad painted white. We're also going to paint the bars as well, and we're going to attempt to do some matching and make sure that everything kind of flows and blends together. So we're actually going to paint today with Paint Couture Arctic White. I just needed a nice white color. So we're going to go ahead and paint this up. We're not doing a bonding primer on this because if I leave, or when I leave eventually one day, this location, my landlord may want me to take it off the window, and in that case, without the bonding primer, I can just go ahead and scrape it with a razor blade and it'll come right off. Yes, you can come up and scratch it and it will probably scratch off. The longer it cures, the harder it is to get off. However, we don't need it to be permanent, and I don't really have a worry about people coming up and scratching it because we are going to build shelving right out in front of this. So this is really just a backdrop and a way for me to hide the sun coming in because I don't need it to ruin fabrics and sun bleach everything that's here. So we can't stick even, furniture can be sun bleached as well. And you know, so you don't want to bleach any of your woods, or also our transfers will get ruined. If you put a piece with a transfer on it, will ruin as well. It will be bleached out by the sun and UV rays. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I've got Arctic White here, and I'm gonna try to be very careful because I am not one to use a drop cloth or anything like that. So I'm just gonna hope that we're very, very careful here. Okay. And I'm just gonna use one of my blue ice brushes. This is one of my, this is 40. We've got 30s and 50s in stock. So I'm literally just gonna go in here and paint over the window. Now, yes, you can roll it. I didn't really want to go get my roller and all that jazz, so I'm just painting right now. We're going to do 2 coats to alleviate any brush strokes we can. And it is quite warm in this window because the sun is coming in. This is the evening or the late night or late afternoon hours, so it's going to get quite warm in here. So again, we're doing this for that reason of the heat, and also we want to go ahead and kind of camouflage this space because we don't actually use any lighting from this window. So we're going to continue painting this, and then we'll be ready for our next step. Our window is completely covered with the paint. We've also put a nice fresh coat of paint on the window casings as well, just to give it a little fresher look, especially since we're already doing all of this. Why not make it look nice and pretty as well? So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna allow this to dry overnight. We didn't use a bonding primer, so we don't want the transfer to pull up the paint. It could happen because it is a slick surface, so we're gonna be sticking something sticky and trying to pull off. So We don't want that to happen, so we want a better chance of it adhering onto the window and staying on. So we'll give this a good half a day to dry. So we'll wait and tackle this in the morning. We'll go ahead and start applying our transfer. We've got a couple that we are contemplating, so we're going to do a few more measurements to make sure that these will fit in just right. The paint is dry completely overnight. So we are now starting out with the dark floral transfer. It's a new one from Redesign with Prima. I think it's gorgeous. It's my colors. It's a nice purples and pinks. They're just beautiful flowers, so it's kind of my jam. So we're gonna go ahead and apply that up here. So I've been kind of tooling around of which way do I want to apply this. Either going in this direction, that way I can get as much as possible going all the way across and up and down, or, because I know I'm going to need two for sure, or do I want to start in the middle? And I really don't want to do the middle. I think we're going to go ahead and do the up and down so I can get as much as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim a little bit around the edges because I don't need this in my way. So we're just gonna go grab some scissors and trim this up really quickly. Okay, so we've trimmed off the edges, so let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna peel off our paper backing. Kind of the moment of truth here. So we're just gonna chunk this. We won't need that anymore. And we're gonna go ahead and get this behind these burglar bars without making an oopsie. Let's work that in there. All right, so this is a little nerve-wracking, but not too bad. All right, and I know I'm gonna have a shelf right about here, so it's not gonna be as visible, so actually I'm gonna start this up a little bit higher. So we're gonna pop this right here. I'm gonna go ahead and push this down. So now that I've made this commitment, we've got to keep going. All right, so we've got that on the window. We're gonna take my transfer tool because it is my favorite. Yes, you can use the free stick that comes in your container. That's great and all, but I do like the width that I get from the Redesign Prima transfer tool. No, vinyl tools have not worked for me. There's too much flex. This is a very hard plastic. If you have a piece that has a little flex, like typically the vinyl tools have some flex to them, so I can't get them to press hard enough for my transfer. So we're gonna go ahead and work on this here and just burnish the whole entire kit and caboodle here. Let's see how we're going. So we want to make sure that this is going to work out okay. So always getting it started could be kind of a little bit of a booger. So all these little parts of the flowers want to stick on. All right. So far looking good. We're gonna keep going. All right, we've got our first panel up on our window. And what we need to do now is make sure we got all the air bubbles out because we don't want it to pop off. So we'll just today we're just gonna do our finger and we're gonna work from the inside and work your way out. And just make sure that you're getting your transfer nice and smooth. I know you guys hear me say this every time, but you know what? There are new people all the time hopping on, so we want to make sure that everyone knows what on earth I'm doing. So we're just smoothing out all of the air bubbles. When you go to seal this and you have air bubbles, it's going to cause your transfer to fail. I've got a pretty good bubble right here, so I'm going to try to work it out there. Make sure. Sometimes you can hear them as they pop. So if you have an air bubble and you top coat it, what will happen is that will dry and then as it dries rapidly or quickly, it'll cause it to burst. So you don't want that to happen. But if it does happen, sometimes it does, don't worry, don't fret. You could either sand that back or let's see, you could either sand it back or you could do a little sanding, make it look distressed, or if it's really big, just sand it and add a new flower or a new element, whatever you're working with, so that you can get that taken care of. So nothing's ever ruined. Don't ever throw a piece away because you feel like you've ruined it. Sometimes it's good to walk away and come back to the piece for sure, but never ever are they ruined. These are simply just transfers and just paint, so never feel defeated or frustrated with the process. Okay, getting the last couple of bubbles out because I can hear them popping out. And I'll probably take a cloth in a little bit because I don't want to rub too much of my hands. You want to make sure your hands are very dry. So I'm hearing a few more pops in this. Make sure we got all those out. All right, so what we're going to do is take our next part of our transfer of the dark floral that we're working with. And make sure when they're going to come nice and rolled up. Just make sure it stays nice and rolled. Sometimes they want to come off the backing paper and onto themselves, and then it'll ruin that for you, so you don't want to do that. So we're going to just take, now we've got that one on, we're going to take this, I'm going to trim again here, and then we're just going to simply come in here and line it up to what we've got already started, and then we'll go ahead and burnish that. So we're going to continue that and finish this up real fast. We've got the 3 panels up here. We did cut one. We only needed about 4 inches here, or a few inches there. So we've got a little bit of that panel still left. So my OCD is getting the best of me. So I've cut this apart. There were some nice breaks in it that I could cut it apart to kind of separate it a bit. And we're gonna add this here at the bottom to kind of give me a little bit more of a fuller floral here. So we're gonna go ahead and I'll show you. We kind of just cut that very easily, and we're just going to pop that right there on the bottom and complete that. Then we'll work on this bottom portion, and truly this bottom portion I'm not going to worry as much because it will be covered and you won't see it unless you're crawling around the floor, and that's just kind of weird. So we're going to go ahead and finish this up real quick. Alright guys, we have gotten all of the dark floral transfer on the window. Now we're focused on just hiding some of the bars here. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting, oh look, there's a bar right there. So we're going to put the transfer a little bit on the bar just here where you have the florals to kind of give that a hidden feel a bit. So let me show you real quick. The bars are fairly easy to do. They are on a curve, so if you were doing this on a, let's say a chair, a spindly chair or something, you could still do it on a curvy part. So we just got a little piece here that's been cut that we were using on something else. So this flower matches that flower pretty well. So we're just gonna go ahead and apply it there and go around. And let's see. We're gonna wait on that part. So we're gonna go ahead and start transferring this on and get this on there. So let's get this started. And you're gonna overlap a little bit, so you don't wanna put your transfer paper all the way around. You're gonna wait and start pulling this off. Let's see, oh, we're way back there. All right. So on a chair, of course, it'll be a little bit easier because you can actually turn it around. These we can't turn around so well. So let's get this party started. Okay. And just kind of lift slowly. Sometimes something will hang on. Just kind of keep going around in the circle. Okay, let's see here. Just making sure my little flowers are sticking down. All right. All right, got a little leaf down here that wants to come off. Now these bars are metal, so they do, they seem to be really adhering that really well, the transfer. They are painted metal, but they still really work well. All right, keep going all the way around. Nobody's gonna see the part in the back, and that's okay. This was cut a little bit bigger, but I'm gonna use all of it, so we're not gonna waste any of it. How some of these transfers like to stick, so just keep going, pull slow, put it back down if it sticks on. Okay. Ta-da, that's it, that's all you have to do. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this up, and we'll get a close-up so you guys can see how this looks in a jiffy. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I'm gonna actually need to cut, because I only have a few pieces left of this transfer, so I'm gonna cut a few of the from a new transfer and just kind of put it in strategic spots. Here's a little close-up of what we're doing. So I've cut my strip here that we're going to use on this panel right here, so you guys can see a little bit better. I know it's hard sometimes to see when we're videotaping and we could be somewhat far away. So let's get this guy going. All right, just want to make sure I had it on the right spot. Okay, so here we go. So I've got my whole strip here. Let me get a little bit closer. It's really tight quarters here because I don't want to disrupt my entire store. We are open during business hours right now. So we're gonna go ahead and line that up right about there. We're just going to curve that all the way around. Oops. There we go. It's got it curved all the way around, so I'm going to take my transfer tool and just start working on this curvy side all the way down. All right, let's see if I get that going. And it doesn't have to go all the way around because you're not going to see the back side, of course. So let's get this all on there. Sometimes these are finicky and don't want to come off. Let's just work that magic. All right, there we go. This is literally now my favorite transfer. I love the colors. They're soft and soothing. So let's go ahead and keep this going. All the way down. Which makes it much easier when you're getting all of this off. So we'll continue this all the way down, but I just want to give you guys a close-up of what we're doing here. And it's pretty easy peasy, right? Here's our completed window. Now all that's left is for me to install the shelving. We hope you enjoyed this project as much as we enjoy creating it for you. And as always, happy painting!